So what are the best parts of owning a Tesla Model 3? About 2 months ago or so, I picked up a 2024 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. And this is my first ever electric vehicle. I had a hybrid, and that was my first ever. That was the Toyota Prius. But I decided to go all in and grab an electric vehicle. And of course, it had to be a Tesla. So number one of the best things about this car is that you don't have to go to the gas station to fill it up. Now, if you're on a long distance trip or something, well, obviously you're going to have to go to a supercharger or charger of some sort. But for me, I use it primarily locally. Errand running, things like that. Which means every time I need to charge it, I just do it in my garage. I had an outlet installed, cost me, I don't know, less than $400, and I'm good to go. I can simply plug it in when I'm at home, and it's ready to roll when I'm ready to roll. I love that. It's one of my favorite things about the Tesla. Next up is driving it. I mean, it is a heck of a lot different than a gas-powered vehicle. You really can drive this thing with just one foot. It has regenerative braking. I've talked about that before. If you don't know what that is, check out some of my earlier videos. But basically, when I let off the accelerator, it automatically slows down and it will completely come to a stop. And that is something that's relatively new, I think, in the Tesla. It used to be when you let off the accelerator, it would still slow down, but it would never come completely to a stop. In other words, it might continue to roll right through an intersection. This has brake hold. When I come to a stop or want to come to a stop, it does it. I never have to touch the brake. I love that. It's more of a seamless, continuous driving experience, particularly if you're lucky enough to be approaching a light, you've let off the accelerator, the Tesla is slowing down, the light turns green, you simply depress the accelerator once again and you are good to go. Love that about this vehicle. It is awesome when it comes to driving. The ride quality of it, it is so smooth. Right there, we just did a stop and I never touched the brake. But anyway, the ride quality, it is so smooth. Right now, we're on the roughest road that I have in the area to drive on. Lots of patches and different grades and things. It's even louder. The surface of this road is like gravel or something, I don't know, but not loose gravel. Anyway, you can get kind of an idea. I'm sure you can hear the difference in the video, but it is nice and smooth. Yeah, you still feel the bumps. It's not like you're riding on a cushion of air, but it's about as close as you can get without going super luxury in your vehicle. I love that about this car. It's awesome. It's one of the best things about the new Tesla. The design of it, the looks. You know, what has held me back from getting a Tesla for years was the look of the Model 3. I didn't want to go any higher than a Model 3 for a couple reasons. Number one, I wasn't willing to spend the money. And number two, I just didn't like a lot of the other trim levels that were a little bit less money, like the Model Y. Nothing wrong with the Model Y if you have it, just a matter of preference. So anyway, Tesla did a redesign or a refresh, I'm not sure. I guess I'd call it a redesign, where they changed a lot of things about the Model 3, particularly the way that it looks on the outside. I think they kind of got rid of that flat face that it had, made it more, strangely, aerodynamic. I would have thought it'd been that way from the beginning, but anyway, kind of sloped it down a little bit further and got rid of that kind of flat panel across the front and that kind of bubbly eye look that the headlights had. Now it's nice and sleek. I will say it's even sporty. I think it's freaking awesome. Plus the color. I was able to go with this blue. I think it's awesome for this car. Red, which is a new color they came out with as well, also looks really fantastic on the new Tesla. And I've said in other videos before on my other channel, Rob Motive, that I kind of have to fall in love with a vehicle before I buy it, right? Well, that's what happened with the Tesla. I fell in love with it. I had to have one. Pricing. it is comparable to, I think, most mid-size or smaller cars out there with the amount of features and luxury that it does have. I paid right around $42,000, something like that, for this car. I think that's acceptable, particularly for what you get in the form of all of the technology and devices and all of that stuff inside the car. Not to mention, again, the fuel savings. Of course, it costs less money to plug in and run an electric than it does to buy gasoline. It's about a fifth the price. Of course, it kind of depends on how you drive the vehicle. I mean, the harder you drive it, obviously, the faster that charge is going to go down. But if you drive it conservatively, it does pretty well. My car is rated for 272 miles, and so far it seems to be staying at that level. It hasn't dropped any. You know, a big concern about mine with getting a Tesla is that I would lose range. Now, I know it's not that old yet, and they do lose range after a number of years, but it's something like, I don't know, 10 or 20 years or something like that. I think it's more like 10. You might lose a couple percent or something. Still not very bad. As far as technology goes, one of the best vehicles you can buy, I think, when it comes to technology. If you look at the screen that we have in here, of course, that pretty much controls everything. We do have some buttons on the steering wheel here, but right there is the brains of the car. Nice, big, clear screen that actually works well. Very responsive. I've never had a mishit or something maybe not turn on or turn off or whatever when I've wanted to do something in particular with the car. I like that. It really reminds me of just a great big giant iPad, and it functions just as well, I gotta say. Otherwise, I am perfectly satisfied with this car. No regrets in getting it. There are other options out there, of course, that you can get. One of the complaints that I've heard about the Tesla is it's so minimalist inside. I mean, if you look around in here, there really isn't very much in here. A couple of pedals, a screen, a steering wheel with a few buttons, and that's it. I like that. I think it's a nice, clean, simple look, and it's all that you really need. I mean, you don't need all that other stuff cluttering up the interior, right? It's funny, I just bought a new Tacoma not long ago. It's a redesign, and I've heard complaints about it being too busy on the inside. Too many contours, too much stuff. We don't have that in the Tesla. I love it. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of run through the best things about the new Tesla, the Model 3. I think it's awesome. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've gotten one. What do you think are the best things about it? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.